What's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to be replacing the front leaf springs and shackles in my F350. First thing that you're going to want to do is set your parking brake and also chalk off the back wheels since you will be jacking the truck up pretty high. Once that's done, you're going to remove the top and bottom shock bolts so that you can remove your shock completely. As you can see in the clip, the shock mount ends up coming with the shock. That's not going to happen if you have the U-bolts in. I did this a little backwards. So the shock mount should be staying with the U-bolts if they're both still in. Now you're going to remove the U-bolts. As you can see here, I'm using a half-inch ratchet. Chances are it's not going to be that easy if you live in the Rust Belt or anywhere with snow and salt. So I'm going to show you what I did on the driver's side to get the U-bolts out. I actually had to take the passenger leaf spring out and then put it back in to move the truck. So everything on the passenger side, I was able to take out basically by hand. But I'll show you what I did on the driver's side because they were really rusty when I originally took them out. And they did fight me for quite a while. So again, this is on the driver's side, but I recommend doing one side at a time. I'm just showing you how I remove the bolts. I recommend actually starting with the passenger side. But to remove the U-bolts, I used a heat inductor to basically just heat up the nuts. I don't think I put enough heat into them, but anyway, I was still able to get them out by using this strategy. What this is doing is it's heating just the nut up, and it's making that nut expand. So the rust bond that's happening in the threads should break a little bit, if not completely, and you should be able to spin the bolt a little bit. After I heated the nut up, I actually sprayed it with some water just to cool it quickly, so that the heat would obviously make the bolt or the nut expand, and then the water would make it contract. So I was hoping that it would break that rust down a little bit more. After that, I did use a half-inch impact to remove the nut. I understand that not everybody has these tools and they are quite expensive, but they made the job a lot easier. I did try to use a breaker bar and I just wasn't confident that it was going to get the nut off. It kind of felt like it was starting to round it. And that's something that I really didn't want to chance because that would make the job a lot harder. So I just went with the half-inch impact since it was available. To me at least. I'm sure you can get this job done with a breaker bar and some heat. As you can see with the impact, I'm tightening and loosening the nut. What that's doing is it's allowing the rusts in the threads to slowly come out. You'll see in a minute just a kind of a cloud of rust starts to come out as I loosen and tighten the bolt. So all that rust is in the threads and it's stopping it from turning. So just working it up and down will clear that out. And on this left nut, I was actually able to take it out with just the impact. I didn't heat it up or anything. The impact was able to break it loose, and then I just did the same thing of working the nut up and down. After all the nuts are off the U-bolts, you should be able to hit them up with a hammer, and they shouldn't really fight you that much, to be honest. These ones did, but you see in this clip why. That chunk of rust was just keeping them in place. Obviously, I'll be using new U-bolts because these ones are pretty much toast. So after you get the U-bolts off on one side, you're going to jack up the truck. For the driver's side, I jacked the truck up by the pumpkin. I just feel like that's the safest point. But if you have a Dana 60 like this truck has, you're able to use anywhere on the axle. At least that's what I've been told. I just prefer to use the pumpkin. Once the truck's in the air, I'm going to place it down on these jacks. These jacks are pretty tall. I actually go one level up with the jack after, which I didn't show, just to get the truck higher in the air, because what you're trying to do by putting the truck on jacks is get most or some of the weight off of the leaf spring. For the passenger side, to jack it up, I used the U-bolt plate on the bottom, and then again I put a jack stand underneath and let it down gently. After that, I ended up using the plow mount to jack the truck up. Now you have to watch out when you're doing this because your brake line is still connected and you don't want to extend that till it breaks, you know? So you got to just be mindful of that. What I'm doing is I'm taking the weight completely off of the leaf spring. I know some of these trucks don't have a plow mount, or most of them don't have a plow mount. I think that the frame continues under the bumper, so if you take your bumper off and maybe use a block of wood or something on top of a jack, you might be able to get the same result that I'm getting here with the snowplow mount. What I'm doing here is I'm removing the frame, the shackle frame bolt. This is right next to your core support mount. You'll see I believe it's a 5/8 bolt. And for me, both sides were not rusted at all. So all I did was I hit them with the impact to loosen them, and I got them out with a hammer. And that's actually a new bolt. So, like I said, I had to do this job a while ago and put it back together. But this is on the driver's side. I'm going to show you what it takes to actually get these bolts out if your leaf springs have been in there for 2 decades, 3 decades, and have never been changed, and your truck was in the rust belt. What I'm doing here is, again, I'm working that nut loose and tight just to clear out those threads, and then eventually I'll be able to take that nut fully off. I also had some wishful thinking here, and I hit it with a hammer just to see if that bolt would move at all, and it really didn't. So what I did in that case is I pulled out the heat inductor again, and I heated up the threaded side of the bolt. As you can see, after a few seconds, the bolt starts to get red hot. After it gets red hot, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it alone for a minute or two, and I'm going to allow that heat to travel through the bolt to the head of the bolt. So once it's cooled a little bit, I'm going to hit it with the impact on the head side of it to see if I can spin that bolt at all. I also recommend wearing gloves if you do use the heat inductor. Obviously, the bolt is going to be hot, and some of the rust that flies at you can be hot. So I recommend just wearing gloves. As you can see, the 1/2-inch impact really isn't moving the bolt at all. So to get the bolt to move, I actually ended up using a breaker bar. I was able to get the bolt to move side to side just a little bit, and then the impact took care of the rest of it. You can just see all that rust that's trapped inside of it once it starts spinning and coming out. Pretty crazy. So once the bolt is free spinning like that, now what I did was I just smacked the bolt back and forth. This whole process of getting this one bolt out took about 1.5 hours. So it's not easy, and it's going to be pretty time consuming and frustrating. But that's just what I had to do to get this bolt out. After a while, I also sprayed I sprayed PB Blaster into the hole to lubricate the bolt as it went back and forth, so it didn't fight me as much. And eventually I was able to drive the bolt completely out with a punch. As you can see, the problem that you're having when you're trying to get this bolt out is those threads are thicker than the middle of the bolt. So you're trying to push that thick part of the bolt through the metal sleeve. As you could see there, after that bolt's out, the only thing that was left was the shackle was still in that little cubby in the frame. So I'm going to jack the front of the truck up by the leaf spring, or by the snowplow mount, and I'm going to fold it forward. Most of the times these will be seized. Like on the driver's side, it's seized. But as long as you're able to get it out of that cubby, you should be able to then pull the leaf spring fully out. Once the leaf spring has been completely removed, I'm going to clean up the leaf spring pad. That's where the leaf spring is going to sit. There's a center bolt in the leaf spring, and there's a hole in that pad where they line up. I basically want that pad to be clean so there's no scale or no rust on it. Obviously surface rust is alright, but just no scaly rust. After that's cleaned, I'm going to move and compare the old leaf spring to the new leaf spring, and I'm going to see which way the shackle goes on. One thing that I didn't do in this clip, but I do in a future clip, is I anti-seize that bolt. Just so I don't have the same problem in the future, or I'm hoping to not have the same problem in the future. So when you're doing this, just match the direction of the shackle, and then you'll be able to place the new leaf spring back in. As you can see in this clip here, I'm just pulling that bolt back out. Now I'm going to give it a generous amount of anti-seize. Hopefully not have this problem again down the road. I will also be sharing the torque specs that I used at the end of this video, because I know anti-seize will lower the torque specs, and also there's different torque specs for the F350 leaf springs and the F250 leaf springs, so I'll share that at the end. So the first bolt that I do put in is the back hanger bolt. I tried to do the shackle to frame bolt first, and I just couldn't get this back bolt lined up. And the problem that I was having was this thing here. The center pin of the leaf spring was not dropping into that hole. So the way I fixed that was first I lined up the shackle with that cubby hole and made sure that it dropped in. And once that was in place, I dropped all the weight off of the jack, and then I rocked the axle back until I heard it click into place. In this clip it took me, that was actually the first time that I pushed it, but I had to do this job twice because I forgot to anti-seize everything. So I had to go back and do it again. The first time I did this trying to get that pin lined up, it took 20-30 minutes of pushing on that axle. Now the last thing that I'm doing here is I'm going to drop the frame down so that it lines up with that shackle. And then I'm just going to slip that bolt in. Now the bolt sizes, this frame-to-shackle bolt I believe is 5/8. Could be wrong, double check. And the other ones, the other two leaf spring bolts were 9/16. Once the leaf spring is in, the bolts are in, you're going to want to put the shock mount back on. You might need to file the middle of that plate so that it fits around the leaf spring bolt. I've seen people have problems with that. I didn't personally. I think the rust kind of took care of that problem for me. So here I'm going to be installing the new leaf springs, or not the new leaf springs, the new U-bolts. And just place them in. When you're putting the new U-bolts in, you might need to squish them together just a little bit to get them to go through the holes, but it's not bad at all. And then I'm going to make the nuts on the U-bolts hand tight. You want to tighten these U-bolts evenly. So when I go to torque them down, you're going to do each one evenly, basically. You want to have an even amount of threads showing on each U-bolt. Once the U-bolts are hand tight, I reinstalled my shock. Before I tell you the torque values, it's also worth mentioning that the truck needs to be on its full weight off the jack stands, not jacked up at all, before you torque anything down. Now the torque specs for everything, for the front spring shackle to frame, the torque spec that I found that I'm going to use is 150 to 210 foot-pounds. The spring bolts on the leaf spring has two different torque values depending on which model truck you have. If you have a 350, it's 120 to 150 foot-pounds. If you have a 250, it's 85 to 120 foot-pounds. Again, if you have anti-seize on this, you're going to have to adjust it for that spec. For the U-bolts, it's also 85 to 120 foot-pounds. Doesn't matter which model you have. The shock bolts that they have to reinstall, the torque spec on those is 44 to 59 foot-pounds. I found all these online. I recommend double checking torque specs, and especially on what model truck you have. But these are the torque specs that I'm going to be using. So that's going to be all for this video. I hope it helped, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.